the same street.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was just talking about you, but I was talking to my daughter.
Uh-huh.
And I said, yeah, we're trying to hook her. Rope her in. She was, oh, yeah, she'd be
Yeah.
great.
Okay, we're good.
Oh, we just froze up then. Oh, there we
I
go.
paused it, yeah.
Can
Okay.
you spell your name for me, Allison?
Allison, and the last name is Galliher.
Gallagher.
Gallagher. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
There are so many ways to spell Gallagher.
Yeah, I would have put another G in.
Yeah.
there, But
So Ted is trying to join. But I think we have everybody. As soon as it decides to
and
function.
no dairy.
No, Darren's away. Ethan's attending
virtual.
with us, and here's Pat.
Also away, but here,
Where
no
are you?
excuses.
Where are you?
Near Cambridge, not far.
Okay,
Probably the easiest.
Cambridge, England, I'm assuming, or Cambridge, Massachusetts.
No, England, yeah.
Right there.
Nice.
Right, you said the 5-hour time delay. Hey, Patrick. Did we lose Ted or is?
He's on. I only have video, no video.
Yep.
There he goes. There's audio. All right.
I can't get on the internet.
I can't see Sarah's face, but I recognize her kitchen. I like her rugs.
Okay, we got
There she
everybody.
is.
There she goes.
Okay, so it's 7:02. Let's call it to order. We don't, and we have a public visitor. Allison Gallagher is here sitting in. Do you have a comment? You don't have to comment on
I-
anything.
Don't think I have any comments.
Okay.
I'm just
Great. So no public comments? Okay. We need to approve 2 sets of minutes. We've got the June 20th, 2023 minutes. Did anybody have any comments on that? I think we,
Except that I left the date off.
great.
Ethan, you didn't pick it up. You must be in another time zone.
Yes, sorry. I did when you said it. I picked it up.
But I fixed it and sent it out again if anybody likes to print them out or keep them or whatever, it is fixed.
Anybody else? Can we have a motion to approve?
A motion to approve the minutes from June
20th.
20th, 2023.
Do we have a second? Sandy seconds. And all in favor?
I
Okay.
I,
Yeah.
in July 1st.
July 1st. Any comments? Changes necessary? I think they all look straightforward. Someone else motion, Sandy motions. Second,
I'll second.
Kiri seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
And Kendall, you took responsibility for that date drop, and that's really me.
Was it?
Oh, wait, no, for the minutes. Never mind. It's okay.
I got a 20 in there at least.
I tried to double check in. I missed it too. Completely missed it.
It's
We
okay.
have
I
the bills. We need to approve the bills. Any comments, Ted? It's pretty straightforward.
It is.
Does anyone have any questions? No?
No, Darren asked the question.
Okay, no Darren to ask the questions, that's right. It looks pretty straightforward.
You will see that the remaining 3,000 for John Aludo for the web has been charged, so he's paid up.
Okay,
We're still working on it in the background, but he's fully paid up for
Okay.
his services.
great.
Okay, should we make a motion? Are we ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve cap 230718F.
A second?
Me.
Okay, Kenda seconds. All in favor of passing cap 230718F?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Moving right along. We have gotten the word from town hall or from the clerk that the signatures were gone through with a comb, and we have 154 signatures. They have not been sent to the Board of Elections because Warren Raplansky feels like the town board needs to vote somehow on it. I don't know the wording of that resolution yet, but after Thursday, I'm assuming they will get forwarded to the Board of Elections. And hopefully that's enough time for us to resolve any issues they might have.
Question.
Yes,
So what happened with Warren being asked not to write the resolution in the end? After
he said
Ellen
that
spoke to him?
he said that was his process.
Ellen
do
essentially
that.
said that,
I
yeah, I mean.
She was
her-
opening up a can of worms by doing it.
Well, the general advice was that we just let them do this process since it's before the August 7th deadline. If we had submitted these
Closer.
closer to the deadline, like most libraries do, this would technically be probable cause for, if they refuse to move them on, then that would be probable cause for litigation. But obviously, given that the board meeting's on Thursday, there's still time to get them to the Board of Elections. The general advice across the board was just let this process happen. And obviously Warren has been debriefed that legally they have to send it on. Why they have to wait till the town board meeting to send them on, I'm not really sure, but
And he wants to make a resolution, is that what you said?
He's writing up a resolution for the town board
to
to
approve
approve them, to
Madeline.
send them on,
Yeah.
yeah,
essentially.
so.
It's an added unnecessary step, but
It's-
I think everybody, it's the first year, they're being overly cautious.
I would think it would be that they accept that Madeline does whatever, not approve, not up to them to approve that she did that.
Right,
No,
the
it's not,
process.
yeah.
right, that's, yeah,
So if they write approve, Patrick, should I put my foot down if they write approve in that resolution? It's not acceptable.
I didn't hear the last part.
Oh, I said, I don't think that they have the right to approve that Madeline look at these papers or check them or whatever. They can accept it, that she did it.
I don't think it behooves us to interfere. I think what I'm hearing is Alexis said it a second ago, unless I'm missing something, that what Warren wants to do isn't really part of the process, as long as it doesn't hold us up. But I guess my question is, so our deadline is what, August 7th?
yes, they have to be physically there on August 7th.
And whose job is it to present them to the Board of Elections? Is it our job?
It's the clerk.
It's the clerk,
Yeah.
which is interesting because we present them on the 7th or before the 7th. And the reason I'm asking is this,
By the 7th,
by the 7th, so she could do it tomorrow.
yes,
I guess what I'm getting at is, she doesn't work for us. And I hope that, there's no issue somewhere, but let's find out sooner rather than later, because it's a weird process that the person who delivers them to the Board of Elections is someone that the library has no control over. That's just weird. That's weird to me, but
right, because she's certifying it, so we pass them over to her to certify them, and then she presents them to,
and has she yet certified them to?
she has certified them.
She has certified them. Okay, yeah, I think we should just monitor it and make sure that there's no weird issue somewhere and that Warren doesn't decide he's going to take 3 weeks to write a resolution.
Again, our lawyer is on vacation in Europe. He had a coworker step in and did talk to Warren yesterday
Great.
about it. And he just said, this is the way he does it.
Okay.
So,
I don't think we should worry about it, but
okay.
we should monitor it and find out how Thursday goes and what
Well-
Warren's vacation schedule is.
And then I think we should also find out how she's gonna send them, because I sent something priority mail to my daughter on June 30th in North Carolina, and she still has not received it yet.
I
Okay.
totally agree. I think we need to shepherd that and monitor that. And frankly, I think we need to,
I'll talk to her about it tomorrow,
yeah. Because it's not worth,
Thursday.
it's not worth a clerical error having this get screwed over. And I know a friend of mine's running for office, and he wanted to have his opponent's signatures challenged, and he missed the date because he did the math wrong. It was sorry, it's a quick aside, but he thought he had like 4 business days to do it, but there was a certain deadline, and if that deadline fell on a weekend, then you get extra time. Anyway, long way of saying a simple clerical error could really screw us over.
Right,
And I think that's the only real downside, is that we thought we had a whole extra week and a
Right.
half basically to get to the Board of
Right.
Elections, make sure it got to the Board of Elections. So, but the good part is we were ahead of the process.
Mhm.
So
right.
the extra step that's being taken isn't going to set us too far back, as long as we're diligent about checking in and making sure that they get to the Board of Elections on time.
Where
And
is
in that respect, I think we should calendar it. Today is the 18th, and yesterday was my 58th birthday.
Yay, happy
birthday.
birthday.
Today's the 18th. This Monday, the 7th is our deadline. We should find a polite way to let people like Madeline and Warren know that we think the deadline that we're shooting for is like Thursday, the 27th. There's no reason that this should not be delivered on the 7th. This should not be delivered on the 4th. It should be delivered, it should arrive no later than the 27th.
Right,
And to Kiri's point, is there a process or do we know how it's supposed to get delivered?
no,
She's supposed to reach out to the point of contact to the Board of Elections. It's really the clerk's responsibility to make sure it gets delivered promptly. And I think each section of Dutchess County has a different person, that point of contact that they deal with. I'm assuming that she has that correct information. She seemed quick about getting those signatures certified and diligent in doing her part of the process. So I'm not worried that she'll get them sent off correctly. It's just making sure that the Board of Elections gets back and confirms that they have gotten it, and that we know for a fact that they have gotten it, so that if anything comes up, we have time to make any adjustments as needed.
Okay.
It seems to me that, first of all, I have heard of no problems with any of this. At least I've heard nothing
right,
negative. It seems to me that the town board really actually does not have a role.
Correct.
that's right,
Thank you, Warren.
yeah.
And I also think that it really behooves the town clerk to hand deliver them.
Yeah,
I think she should go in person and deliver them.
right,
And I will be seeing her tomorrow because I have to sign bills.
uh-huh,
I'll have a discussion with her and I'll get back to you if there's any issues.
Where would that
Okay.
be? Hand delivering it would be physically where?
To
Albany?
the Board of Elections,
the
Where is
Board
it?
of Elections is in Poughkeepsie,
Poughkeepsie. To the Board of Elections in Poughkeepsie. That's no big deal. She can get in her car and drive it down there and deliver it, a hand.
I'll take her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, going, I'll keep her company if she wants
She
it.
can get her mileage reimbursed. We have to reimburse mileage for, jobs. So I'll check on it tomorrow.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
One more question from the box.
Okay,
Since it seems like we're deficient in the approval of roughly 10 of our signatures, did Madeline provide reasons as to why they could not be approved? In the
No.
future, we may have, in the future, if this gets approved and we may be doing this again years down the line, it might behoove us to know why they were not approved. If it was simply people messing up their own addresses, or if it was something us or our
Right.
volunteers were doing.
My guess is it was a combination of things. Just from the conversations I had with people, they were like, sure, I'll sign. I'm not sure I'm still registered or not. So like, we were told not to, once somebody had started, to not cross it off or adjust anything. So it may be that people really weren't registered and thought they were, or the addresses didn't match. I think there's probably a bunch of different reasons why a signature could get, but honestly, from 62 to 54, that's 8. And like, I'm really not gonna quibble about 8. That's pretty good
That's actually,
numbers.
yeah, that's pretty good
Those are pretty good
statistically
numbers.
across.
I agree. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, thank you.
So I think actually when we did our checklist afterwards, I was reading the email correspondence, 'cause I know I was on vacation at the time, but I think that we estimated at least 6 that we
Yeah.
knew for a fact we're not gonna pass anyways, because either addresses were incorrect or something.
There was somebody signed twice. I know that, like there's a couple of, two different people got one person, so.
So it sounds like just a few inconsistencies, well
Yep.
within the margin of error.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Great.
And I have to say, I haven't done any statistical analysis, and it's kind of hard to do it, but from reading through the names, we really covered both sides of the aisle, and got support from multiple locations that we were unsure that we were going to get support from. So I think we spun it as this is about democracy, not about supporting the library necessarily right now, and that got us those signatures. So anyway, Ted, would you like to talk about your reports? Do we have questions for Ted?
You have some very, very nice donations there.
You lost Sarah?
The Apex Modular gave you 50
Nice.
from the woman that's running the Stissing House, 1,000.
Nice.
Then Scott gave you 50, and then there was 100. So that was good. That was $1,200 that came in.
Mhm. That's good.
And if you happen to look at the income report,
Mm-hmm.
donations line, all the way at the second line down, 518% higher than what you predicted.
Yeah. That's good.
It's very good.
I'm liking that.
I like the blue.
Yeah, blue is
Blue
good.
is so nice.
Is the 518%, Ted, is that mostly due to the one donation of 50 grand? From
Yeah.
Perkins?
Well,
Okay. No, listen, I'm not belittling that by any means. I'm just trying to separate it a little bit in my mind.
Yeah, it looks like if we subtract that, we have about 7,000 in donations with a budget line of 11,000. So
Which means we're still tracking higher.
we're still
and
tracking
faster.
higher. Yes,
Yes.
that was what I was aiming at.
Yeah, and we haven't even done our big fundraiser yet.
We haven't
which is
done an
in
appeal, yeah.
October, so
Right.
we're doing pretty good this year. And I'll get into this later, but I got some more grants, so we'll be well over a line on that as
Oh,
well.
good. Any other questions for Ted while we've got him? No, everything looks very straightforward. Okay. Thank you, Ted, for everything you do.
Can you get an approval on that?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, do we have to vote on?
I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I always forget which things have to get voted on. Alexis, you're up.
Yeah. You all received my report, obviously, considering this is usage up to the end of June, so we're at our midway point. So I'm just gonna highlight a few of the big things. Overall for the year so far, circulation is up 11% from 2023 to 2022. We're on track to have our best year, at least according to all the data that I've looked for the last decade. I don't know about anything past that. Too far back. But that's great. So this will be one of our best years as long as we continue to track like that for the rest of the year. Programs offerings are up 14% from last year, and attendance is up a total of 60% for the year. In comparison, also on track to be one of the best years that we had. And foot traffic is up almost 45% for the year by the halfway point, which explains a lot in terms of
Your exhaustion level?
yeah. But it's fantastic news, and it's very exciting to see that all that hard work that we're doing is materializing in the statistics when I look at them every month. So I have the largest summer reading signups I've seen in the 3 years that I've been here. So that's exciting. Last year, I don't even think we filled up half a sheet of signups for each age group, and I've already completed almost 2 sheets of sign up for 2 of our age groups. So I'm hoping that this will be a great year for summer reading. It's looking like it already is. The new website's launched. I know you guys saw it. We talked about it at the special meeting. Me and John are still working in the background to expand a few areas of the website and get some things working. This week in particular, I made sure that all of our strategic plans, all of our budgets, and all of our when was the other? There was another one. Oh, the annual community reports are all there, which had a hard time transferring over. So me and him were working on that this week, and they're all up. If you have any feedback for it, I finally figured out how to fix the hours.
Yeah, the hours were from 12 midnight to 6 p.m.
Yeah, 12 a.m. I was like, no. So we figured out how to fix
Okay,
that.
good.
I got that corrected. And in addition to all that, Annie's really working hard to help me create a procedure handbook for the staff, which really we're just going off of like, this is how we do things.
Yeah,
And we're all
that's-
verbal vomiting how to train people. So she's been really helping me get all of that into one document that we can edit as needed. And it's actually going to be stored. I'm working with John. It's going to be stored on a password protected page on the website so that the staff is able to refer to it and make updates as needed.
Right.
So that it's not just this massive binder sitting behind the desk anymore that nobody looks at.
I was at a doctor's office the other day and they had a binder that said Bible on it, and they kept taking it down, and my mother's like, what was that? And I was like, oh, that's just their office procedures.
Yeah. I can't do we have one, and I think I've seen people pick it up 3 times. So I want something that they can refer to more quickly and
Right.
be able to actually, control F. So they're not having to, where is this at in here? Anyway, so she's really helping me with that. The only other thing I want to mention is last meeting I mentioned looking into homebound services, homebound delivery. And I did consult with a couple libraries that offered some information on how they run them, their policies. So I just want to brief you guys on that and see if this is something we want to move forward with. Most libraries use volunteer drivers, like I mentioned at the last meeting, and it is considered a volunteer service. So some of their staff members do it as well. So they just volunteer their time. I've got a few. I know Mary's interested in helping out if they're within vicinity of her. She's fine to do some. I've got a couple other volunteers that are interested. They do not offer travel reimbursement for their services, and insurance companies don't like to cover travel. So the way that they kind of do this is that it's an agreement, a policy agreement that's usually developed. A couple of libraries said that they checked with their lawyer on it just to make sure it's right. But it essentially just says this is a volunteer service that you're doing voluntarily, and that if anything happens while delivering library materials, the library is not liable for anything that could happen. So
We should see if we can get a form.
I have
set
a
up for
couple, I have a couple drafts that were sent to me, or a couple examples that were sent to me, I should say. The other thing was there's also a couple libraries suggested having an agreement with the patrons that utilize the service. So they have to sign off on an agreement just saying like, these are when the delivering times would be available. You're still obligated to turn your items in on time. These are the days that we'll offer, and then also making sure that you understand like what the radius is from the library that we are willing to serve. Some libraries did a mile radius, and some libraries just said if you were within the town code of our service population that they would do it. And the reality is that the majority of people that utilize this service are pretty small per population. It kind of depends. I had one library say that they had like a maximum of 12, and the lowest I heard was like 4.
Right.
So I don't think it's like an overly used service,
What
but
would what would you expect?
that's a really good question and somewhat hard to answer. I think that we actually have a lot of patrons that can't make it into the library as is, particularly because handicap access getting into the building is already bad. So I could think of probably 6 to 7 off the top of my head
That's a
that
lot.
might be interested. As to whether or not they'd actually utilize it, I don't know, but I could think of about 6 to 7 that I know personally that I think would benefit from it. So I think that it just kind of depends as to whether or not they actually utilize it or not.
And would you do me a favor? And you said you got some samples of, I couldn't tell if they were notices or agreements or what, but if you send those to me, I'd be happy to compile them into whatever the best form could be.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll send them over. And I primarily didn't present anything just because I wanted to get a consensus before I put the time into it of like developing an agreement or a policy on it. And then I figured if you are all fine with pursuing it as a service option, that I'll send it to Patrick first, get his input, and then I can present it at the next board meeting.
I think that sounds great.
Yeah, right, great. That's all I got. Unless you all have any questions about anything on the report that I didn't bring up.
When do you get statistics for transparent? Do you get
Well,
those statistics?
There's I'm sure they're a little bit better from what I understand. They're better than Mango was. Mango took you got basically an Excel sheet at the end of the year. From what I understand, there's a more accurate way to look at it. Now, did you
I
transition?
haven't started yet.
The consumer feedback from Mid-Hudson side of things shows that people are really liking it more than Mango.
Okay,
So
that's good.
I'm hoping that stays a positive transition, and it seems a lot easier to use in my opinion than Mango was. So we'll find out.
I have a question. Do you publicize the Canopy movie streaming service?
It's on the website, and it's in our borrowing section. I think I occasionally post about it just to remind people, along with Hoopla, to remind people that it's in there. It's also listed in our newsletter. It says borrowing services, and Canopy is listed there. Why? Because the statistics are low, or
Well, it seems like it. And caveat, I work for a streaming service, so I probably don't want people using Canopy, but it's so expensive. I mean, Netflix is almost $20, Paramount Plus is $11, Hulu is going up. It's like, it's. so-
Canopy doesn't have a lot of
The new
first
stuff.
run kind of
Okay,
stuff.
okay.
It's a lot of international,
Okay,
more art films.
okay,
It doesn't,
okay.
and it actually is more expensive for the libraries.
If they use
than-
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, I will say the benefit to
know.
Canopy is that since it's cost per click, so the average, I think the highest option is like $6 per click. So, which is cheaper than us like buying probably an e-copy of a movie, although they don't offer that
Mhm.
option in Overdrive. However, I'm actually really curious to see, because Overdrive did buy Canopy. So I'm actually really curious to see if they try to integrate those services into Libby and actually offer more streaming options for those those like recently published.
Outlet titles.
Yeah,
Mm.
thank you. I know that's your field.
So we don't really want them to people to use it more because it costs us more money.
I gotta say, like as the academic library side, they used to charge us for a year. Like if someone watched it, we had to pay for a year's license for $100. It was the lowest price we had. So like we had a lot of those, on DVD. We'd much
Right.
rather someone watch the DVD
Right.
than click on Canopy, but it's such a great service that,
Yeah.
but it sounds like it's a different model.
Yeah, the cost per
For-
click saves us the cost quite a bit. I think that's why you don't see those.
Yeah.
What do you call them? Recent
Outlet titles.
output titles. Because they're trying to avoid the licensing costs,
Yeah.
and that's why you see a lot of international titles on there as well. And I also think that's why we haven't seen a more streamlined.
Yeah, they have all the
service.
Criterion films and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Got it. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, for the time being, using Canopy is not expensive, but the thing that I like about Canopy and Hoopla is we're only paid for the usage of it versus me having to buy a copy of a book on Overdrive that sure I have 6 holds on it now, but it all gets used up in 6 months and then it just sits there for the rest of the year and I had to pay $80 for it. That's where that gets a little bit annoying, but.
All right, thank you.
Jean's not here. We haven't done any more financial planning.
I have a few
Oh,
things.
I'm sorry, apparently we have.
Yeah, well, I just
think you're
wanted to
that sad.
update on the grants. So I
Oh, right.
received I received the mini grant that we applied for from Mid Hudson Library System for the expansion of our Spanish collections
That's great.
across adult, children's, and teens. So Annie's helping me compile a list so I can go ahead and submit those orders and just be done with it. It all has to be spent by November anyways, but I did get the check for Berkshire Taconic for the teen program. That's $5,500. So by the time those 2 grants come in, and I think there's one more sitting out there, we'll have over $10,000 in grants this year, which doubled what we had expected,
That's great.
Taconic.
which is great.
Berkshire Taconic.
Berkshire
Berkshire
Taconic.
Taconic, that's it.
I wanted to bring up if we want to go ahead and set a date for to finalize the fiscal year 2024.
We need to do that.
Meeting. And if we wanted to go ahead and do that now, so that-
Okay. Is there a Saturday that? Because, do we have to have it, like, does it literally have to be done before the end of July, or can we?
So the general practice, and Ted's
On.
he's on. Okay, I was
Yeah.
like, where'd he go?
That's July.
Ted can cue in on this.
Okay.
The general practice is we want to have it done by the end of July so that we can submit it to the town board and that they have time to review it. I know that doing the budget initiative this year kind of puts things in a weird
Right,
perspective. However, we still need to submit it to them in the case that the vote fails so that they know what we're looking at for expenses next year. And hopefully we can get a number from the town board as to what they hope to fund the library at, even if it does fail, so that we can make our adequate
go
planning.
for it, yeah.
Yeah, so usually we submit that to the town board in August, Ted?
You develop your budget in July, you submit it to the library board in August.
I
Okay,
missed a step.
And gets approved. If approved, it then goes to the town before the end of August.
okay,
Okay,
They will review it somewhere along the line. Last year was very late before they got to it,
right,
but that's the procedure. And
okay,
Alexis is quite right. They will then determine how much they're gonna give you of that budget.
okay.
so yeah. I guess in theory, we could do it anytime between now and a week before our next regularly scheduled meeting. And time.
Into August.
Uh, um. So we're talking, if our board meeting is our board meeting the 15th of
Yes.
August?
Yep.
Well, that's really early. I don't think, are there, I hate doing this, are there any Saturdays that people can't do it? Are Saturdays bad? I think Darren likes to sleep in.
The only
Ethan?
Saturday I can't do is August 5th. but
Okay,
Hopefully it's before that.
I can do next Saturday, and that is it.
that's the 22nd or
No,
the 29th?
29th.
Okay,
I can't do the 29th.
you cannot do the 29th. Patrick, what's your schedule looking
I'm
like?
fine. I can do anything.
Okay,
I'm also not opposed to a Sunday.
I
okay.
could do the
30th.
30th, but I have to drive to Berwick, Pennsylvania to pick up Jake from his new boyfriend's house.
Oh, okay. Okay, that in the afternoon, so we had to do it.
The whole last
Morning.
week, I can fill you in on all the gossip on Sunday after said pickup.
Okay. Ethan, are Sundays okay for you?
No.
No,
Sorry.
no, that's okay. The 30th is bad for me. I'm going away for a couple of days.
It doesn't, we don't all have to meet because you have a financial committee,
Okay,
pretty much.
I mean, it's a workshop meeting,
It's a
so it
workshop.
will be live stream. We need an
We have
agenda.
to-
We'll do minutes, but
Yeah.
we're not
doesn't-
voting on anything. It's a
Right.
workshop.
Okay.
So
okay.
What about the 5th?
Kenda
No,
says she
I'm
can't
in
do the 5th.
North Carolina. I think my
Um,
husband's brother went to shape.
Can we do it on a school night?
What about during the week?
yeah, we were, Gary just asked me that.
Like on Monday night?
How are Monday nights for people?
Good.
as long as it's after 6:30 for me,
Okay,
or between either before 5:30 or after 6, from 5:30 to 6:30, I have an engagement.
I won't be in town on the 31st. The 7th, I could do.
No 24th? Wait,
That's rushing it.
oh, that's next.
That's next Monday.
Yeah, I need at least
This-
48 hours. I need at least a
need-
week notice,
yeah,
probably
just,
for an agenda and a workshop.
Yeah. Should we go for the 7th? 7th, 6:30? Does that work?
To push cutting the cat nails. That's what's on my calendar from 6 to 7, so I'll put that, but I would literally just
You
cut
give
them.
yourselves an
Cut
hour for
nails,
that?
Yeah.
Okay, August 7th at 6:30. Great. I can put a public notice on the website and on the doors and
Okay.
up in the library. And technically, since we're discussing and decided now, this is part of public notice.
Right.
Sorry, we hit 6:30, is that?
6:30, yeah.
All right, and then the other thing I want to do is also a scheduling thing, but I
Okay.
actually have a proposed date, and it's that if the Board of Elections says we're good to go, we had discussed doing an information session. And so I was proposing September 16th at 10 a.m. I checked that the community room is available. I cannot guarantee that it will be. Scheduling has been a little bit finicky to get to the community center on Saturdays. It's just a popular day for the community to book it. So I don't know if that's changed,
So
but
if we schedule something, it gets knocked if someone's paying for it?
no, as long as I get on the calendar, I would say 90% of the time, I don't have a problem.
Okay,
But Saturdays are really popular, so they tend to get booked quite a bit out. So scheduling my Saturday programs have been a lot more coming into the library because I just keep finding
Okay.
dealing with conflicts.
What
So,
date was that? I'm sorry.
September
Saturday,
16th.
16th. And the reason for that was primarily because I know that the room is booked on the 2nd, the 9th is community day. The 16th was available, the 23rd is my birthday, and I really don't want to do it on that day.
gotcha.
And then I didn't know if we wanted to consider pushing it to the 30th and into October.
I think we should, if we can, we should do it on the 16th and then we'll gauge, how much interest there is in people talking to us about what's
Yeah.
going on.
I had originally thought about doing one in September and one in October, but I think I had the same thought where let's see how many people show up. If we feel like there's unanswered questions or
Right.
we have more people requesting it, but frankly, I've had quite a few community members come in from into the library and ask me some direct questions, which I was able to answer, and they seemed happy with that. And I said, we'll be doing an information session, and probably like 80% of them were like, nope, you answered my question, I'm fine, bye. So I think that we should do this first one, engage, and then we'll decide if we need to do a second. So I will send a request for the community center for the 16th. If it comes back bad, I'll reach out to you guys, probably just via email, and we have enough advance notice that I'll figure out what's available and let you know some alternatives.
Alexis, what kind of questions are you getting?
Most of them was actually the estimate cost increase for their tax obligation. So a lot of them, once I explained that it was like a $3 a month increase, which is actually less because I have the final, I think it's $2 and done. I'm actually not even gonna say it without looking at the numbers, but once I said it was basically a $3 a month increase for the average household in Pine Plains valued at X amount, they were completely fine, but most of it was, how much is this going to cost me?
We need to put that information on bumper stickers everywhere in town.
Yeah.
Real dollar amount.
And if you can come up with that rubric,
Right.
let's get that so we all have it too.
Yes.
So that if
Yeah.
we're asked that very direct question,
Yeah.
we can answer that.
The
very direct
calculator is
question.
an Excel document that you easily just say, what is your home assessed at? You can plug that in and it'll just pop out the number for you. So I kind of figured that I'm going to take what our assessor gave me was our final numbers for the tax assessment for next year and redo those calculations and then have a calculator available so that if people ask that question, I can be like, well, what's your home assessed at? Here's the number, here's what it costs you. The really good news about the current assessment is I know that it took the annual cost under $100 for the average homeowner. So it actually helped us quite a bit, the current assessment that came out. I mean, it was only over by a few dollars anyways, but I like that it's under $100 a year for a household.
Okay.
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
Because this is an election year and there will be people walking door to door from both parties, I think you will probably want to specifically reach out to each candidate to be sure that they are properly informed, because they will be getting questions and they will be answering questions for you. And it should be a nonpartisan kind of issue. So I think you want to keep it a nonpartisan issue.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just a suggestion.
Yes.
It's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes.
Yeah, maybe we can come up with just like a group sheet, you know, like we
Yeah.
have the FAQs, but we can,
Yeah, well, and I have
Make sure
a,
you get it to them.
not a flyer, a mailer, that just has a few statistics, that kind of the big information on there, just like nicely packaged.
mm,
And I'm just waiting to confirm that we will be on the ballot before I ask the Friends to support
yeah,
printing that and sending it out so that people have that information. In addition to that, the Friends have already said that they'll support us getting yard signs and all the other things that we need. So it's just, I'm just waiting for that final, like, yes, because I don't want anybody to waste money if something comes back.
right, right.
Back to Sarah's point about the candidates. I forget where we are in the election cycle. Do we know who the candidates will be?
Yes,
That's definitive.
yeah, the 2 caucuses were last week, so. Yeah,
Okay. So I think it's a good idea for us to, I don't know, make a definitive plan to
Yeah.
reach out to those candidates.
Yeah.
Alexis, do you want help with that, or do you wanna? I mean, I think it's something a trustee could do.
Oh, absolutely. I think it might be better coming from a trustee.
mm,
Okay,
Obviously, the trustees kind of are the ones to lead this process. I'm just here for support and information and legal guidance, really.
okay.
So, yeah.
okay, maybe
Yeah.
we can come up with a group of us, we could talk about it, figure out how to tackle it.
And I'm happy to help with any resources, but I do think it would be good coming from a trustee.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
That's all I have for the financial.
Okay. Any
I
marketing?
had a finance
Oh.
question.
Okay.
I think I have a finance question. My question is about fundraising, and I think we're looking at the agenda. This is the place where it would fit in. Is that
Okay,
for me to ask? I'm just I'm wondering if we should be worried in that I think Alexis, I heard you say a minute ago that we're going to do a fundraising campaign in October. Did I hear you say that correctly?
November.
November.
Yeah,
Oh,
after Thanksgiving, before
After the election.
Christmas.
after the
After the
election, yeah.
Correct.
Thank you. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, that's sweet spot after Thanksgiving to before Christmas, sweet spot for everybody looking
Yeah,
for their
kinda
tax
do-
donations, their tax write-offs.
Like another mailer, like. we
Yeah,
did
no, I
last
just
year,
didn't want it
yeah.
to be competing. I wouldn't want the townspeople with their pitchforks coming after us saying, on the left hand, you want more tax dollars, on the right hand, you want more
More
donations, which
everything,
is
yeah.
true, we do, but
Yeah. And I do think actually if Kiri has suggested this last year, is that if we're sending out the mailer, that we might also want to start writing personal notes. So if we have people that we are thinking might give us a larger donation or might possibly give us a larger donation that we could write a personal note to, we should probably consult each other and come up with a list and
Well,
either divvy it up
I like
or,
that idea a lot. And, I know a guy who, has some money in town and donates left and right. And
Yeah.
I asked Ted to look up the last time this person donated. And he, like 4 years ago, they gave $2,000, nothing since then. I'd be more than happy to personally reach out to him. I also by chance ran into this guy named Richard, who in the past has donated, I think like sometimes $7,000. That number sticks in my head because he works for a big bank and he has a matching, matching donation. And I ran into him at Rosie's. And he's like, yeah, how do I know you? I said, oh, because I'm in the library. He goes, oh yeah, I should give the library some money again. And I'm thinking, oh, like we
we have to remind them.
we
yeah.
have to, we need to get in front of it. And if there are some people who sometimes donate $5,000 or $2,000, we should keep a list.
But I do think this goes back to we should really push off, anybody who wants to write us a check any day they want to is more than welcome. But let's push off our major drive to request it. But I even know somebody that Jay used to work with in the city lives in town now, and I plan to have a nice, sit down with him. Maybe, I don't think he drinks, but bring him a nice bottle of wine or something, like just have a conversation, but I think we should consolidate the list, make sure we're not stepping on each other's toes. Cause
Agreed.
the last thing these people that we're targeting as a big donor need is to be asked twice.
Right.
Well, and the good part is, since we just redid our strategic plan last year, we have a good set of goals as to
Right.
what that money can go towards.
Right.
We're seeing the increase in usage. We have the statistics, we have the information. So when we
Absolutely.
now, at least now, when we open these conversations, we can give very clear cut goals as to what it would be going towards and supporting the library. So
Mhm.
I think we more so than at least when I first started here, we have a lot more ducks in a row to do a bigger fundraise effort to help support that gap, that even with this budget increase, we still have to fill a $25,000 fundraising gap. So yeah, but I think these are all good ideas.
Marketing? Do we have signed data?
So I emailed the guy again. Well,
Okay.
I with the old
The old guy.
guy again. I emailed him twice. I didn't hear back from him. So I have another name of someone in Connecticut. So I'm gonna go after them now and see. I think people are just actually really busy. Which is good for them.
Yeah.
But I sent them all, I sent this guy all the measurements and the
Okay,
pictures, and so anyway. So I'm gonna go for the new people in Connecticut,
okay.
Great.
unless he gets back to me.
Facilities updates?
When we went to talk to Brian yesterday about the petitions, I did make a pointed question about the lights. I've had several more patrons complain, one of which said that they were gonna write a letter to the board, the town board. I don't know if it was received or not, but or if it happened. I just know that somebody told me that they were going to. He said that they're in the process of bidding or getting quotes for the lights to be all changed to LEDs. I'm not sure if, I know Genocchio had come in to kind of review it. I'm not sure if Genocchio quoted too high. But one of the things I thought was we're on 6 months of some of these, like the section in the kids' room has been out for almost 6 months, and the section in the adult room has been out for, I went back and looked at my original emails, and it's been about 3 or 4 months.
Mhm.
So I do have a question to ask. If we go to the town board and say that we'd be happy to help with the costs of covering the lights for this floor, would that be something that we'd be interested in doing to try and help get this rolling?
I don't personally recommend it, but
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't,
that open up a can of worms.
Yeah.
as to kind of-
Okay.
yeah, I think that's fair.
All right.
Sure.
It was just an idea to bring it. I don't really have a sway either way. I see kind of both the pros and the cons of it, but
I mean, I'm happy to hear other people's opinion. That was just my own.
No, I think we have a lease that they're supposed to be maintaining that stuff, so we should be expecting that. The policy review is still where it was, when in my free time. I'll try to get back to it. Well, yeah, exactly. We'll go back to some of that. We still got the bylaw review, Patrick. I don't know if I'm not sure I've seen this latest version or this latest iteration.
Yeah, I think, yeah, and I know it's the redheaded stepchild of the Pine Plains Free Library, but I think all of our issues that we've been kicking around since we started looking at this are done. I just need to apply myself to getting it in front of you guys. So
Okay.
I'll do that.
We had talked about having a snow day, like an official snow day, put in the bylaws as a policy, so that if for some reason our regular scheduled meeting can't be, that there's already, so that we're not spinning our wheels quickly to make sure that a notice goes up if we have to reschedule quickly.
Yeah, which was determined for the Saturday, so if
So we were thinking the
Saturday
Saturday.
at 9 AM following what would have been the regularly scheduled meeting, and it was Rebecca's suggestion that we put that in the bylaws so that the notice is already there, and that if in the case that we get snowed in, or, you know, we don't have a quorum, we already have a backup date in the bylaws as a meeting date.
Okay,
Any new business?
I can't manage
Yeah.
the current business.
Then I think if I have someone to call for a motion for adjournment, we can go ahead and close the meeting. At 7:50.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
A second.
All in favor?
Yay.
Okay.
Sandy, you're right in there. Raising that hand up. I think.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sarah, for all your input. tonight.
thank you, Sarah.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ted.